Well, good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Underhood Show presented by Mel Hambelton Ford. My name is Phil Nightingale and Josh Prophet. Morning, Josh.
Good morning.
Sunny and 70 again.
It is.
How about that?
Yeah, it is.
Right.
We're getting to the time of year where that is an actual true statement.
Yeah, I get that too. So, anyway, hey, it's a call-in show, 316-462-3673. Anything ailing your car, tires, brakes, batteries, you want to talk about anything in the automobile world, love to hear from you. For each and every caller, get a great price package, Josh, right?
We do. Yeah, we're going to send it out to you.
So what's in that package as always?
So we're going to mail it out to you, but it's going to consist of the works, which is an oil change and tire rotation. We use Motorcraft oil and filter products here at Mel Hambelton Ford. While we're performing that service, we're also going to complete a multi-point inspection on your vehicle, checking over the brakes, tires, steering, suspension, all the safety-related components of that vehicle, just making sure that it's ready to go for that next 5,000 miles of driving. You'll also receive yourself $10 to Mel's Diner, so you can get yourself something to eat and drink while you're here with us at the Big Corner. Complete nitrogen for your tires, so you get all the great benefits that nitrogen has to offer. And then BG Products package, which consists of a can of MOA or motor oil additive for your engine oil, and then 44K for your fuel system. Again, just getting that vehicle geared up and ready to go for that next 5,000 miles of driving.
All right, 316-462-3673. We already got a caller on the line. Let's get him patched through.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Hold on. I
Slip
don't
on.
even have the equipment out yet.
Technical difficulties again, as always. We kind of. Anyway, morning, Jeff. How's Jeff doing this morning? So, so got our first caller coming up. We'll get him patched through here, see what's on Jason's mind this morning from that part. So
see what he's got going on. He was, I think he was on standby. He was ready to go. Just waiting. We're just waiting to go live here. So,
yep, I get it. That's okay. I'm sure he's got something he's excited to talk about. So, get him patched through here real quick. We'll see what's on Jason's mind. Anyway, that wind yesterday, holy smokes!
I felt like last year we had a lot less windier days than typical for Kansas. It just seemed like. So I hope that continues on this year. But yes, yesterday it was windy. That is for sure. So hey, let's go to the phones and talk to Jason. Jason, good morning. You're on live with Under the Hood.
Morning, guys. How are you?
Perfect. How about you?
Good. Hey, quick question for you guys. So I have a 2022 Ford F-150, and the other day I got a message on the system saying active air dam system, but it came on for like 2 minutes and then immediately went off, and it's never come back on again. What does that mean?
Well, so these new trucks have an actual electronically actuated lower air dam. And the manufacturers I know have done it for probably a couple different reasons. One is to direct cooling, where it needs to go as far as airflow on that vehicle. And then the other thing is fuel economy. And so that air dam is actually designed as you're driving down the highway to lower more than conventional, like in-town driving, parking lot maneuvers, stuff like that. And what you see happen is something, hits the air dam, or if there's an issue with those electrical motors, or it's bound up with dirt, is kind of another thing that I've seen have happen with them. Then basically it's sending you a message to say that there's something wrong with that circuitry, or it's not able to do the task that it's being asked to do, is essentially what it amounts to. And so we would need to get it in and perform a diagnostic on it and see exactly what's going on with it. Is it something that's going to leave you stranded? Absolutely not. But also we need to make sure that system's working like it needs to. That way you get the maximum fuel economy and the best cooling conditions for that vehicle during driving conditions. So
just something
sophisticated.
Yeah, something you'd had a failure of some sorts while that light come on. I have a lot of people that actually don't realize it too and hit that air dam and break it, or do something to bind it up, and then that turns that light on also from that part too. So, but something happened to that front air dam, and we need to take a look at it, Jason, and see if it's, who knows, maybe it's a bunch of dirt got in there too, or bounded up or whatever. Yeah. That's why it went off and back on it.
Well, with all this wind we're having, I wouldn't be surprised one bit.
Yeah, very true. Very true. So,
I appreciate the call, guys. Thank you.
nope. Thanks, Jason. Let's get it in. We'll take a look at it and see what you got, buddy.
Sounds good. I appreciate it, man.
Thanks, man.
You guys have a good weekend.
Hey, you too, buddy.
Thanks.
Anyway, 316-462-3673. Anything ailing in your car, tires, brakes, batteries, are kind of like Jason's deal there. Don't quite understand what's happening. Josh and I can surely get you directed in the right direction.
That's something that, the manufacturers, when years ago we're working on these cars, I can remember vehicles having a 185 thermostat in it, right?
Yep.
Yep. Maybe even I remember vehicles running no thermostats for purpose of overheating. It was always try to keep it cool. Well, then these manufacturers, as they've evolved the engine, and they want the heat in them, right? They want them to be able to be efficient in what they burn and everything like that. And so, I mean, our operating temperatures now are, around 210 degrees, maybe a little less than that.
It used to be at 240, you were really freaking out. And anymore, if they get to 240, it's not a big deal.
And so that's something that I've really seen evolve over the last couple of years is airflow throughout the hood area or engine bay and the undershielding on these cars. And I think a lot of people don't understand that it's even there, but then two, understand the importance of it when you see an undershield. You can just about drive down any highway and look over to into traffic, or the traffic that's going the other way, and see shield after shield hanging down on the bottoms of these cars.
Many times, yeah.
Or dragging around. The other day I was at a gas station fueling, and this lady come rolling in, and I heard it for probably a half a block coming, but just dragging the whole undershield with her, and
it'll go away.
I don't even know that she knew that it was even down there, and I had said something and tried getting it put back up, and which we did, but even at that point, I don't think she gave didn't care at all about the fact that it was doing it, because the car still ran, started, drove down the road
where she's going.
Everything was fine from there. But from a lot of people, I don't think maybe understand what that's doing as far as the fuel efficiency of it. Yeah, is an undershield going to make a huge difference? Yeah, it may save a tenth here or there, probably not a huge deal, but it also is directing air where it needs to go to cool those components of that drivetrain of that vehicle, for sure.
Yep, there's a reason all that stuff's there.
Well, and then even the interactive grille shutters that I think of now that they have, out in front of like a radiator or condenser that are electronically controlled, that actually, it shuts airflow off to those components, so the vehicle's able to warm up quicker. And that's why, I don't know, anymore you get in a deer accident, or you hit a little bit of something in the front, and you're like $5,000-$6,000 into a vehicle, and
crazy,
and it doesn't even look like it,
Yep.
Like it's that big a deal. So
yep, exactly. So something new I thought about talking about today, Josh, is diesel exhaust filters. Anyway, everybody's loving to take those things off, and then putting tunes in these trucks. And I get part of the deal is people think it's going to breathe better fuel economy, all that kind of stuff. And, when you put a tune in a truck, you can do about a lot of things to different trucks and different things from that part. And again, on a diesel, the more fuel you give it, the more it's going to burn, the more power you're going to have too. But that's when we got the coal rolling out the back of them too. And that's when there's that much smoke rolling out the back of that thing. Just think how much carbon is being built up in that motor.
Yeah.
From that part. But I did find out with a little investigating, and did contact an attorney to make sure where we're at, is we can now sell those trucks with deleted trucks. We just have to disclose it to the next customer. The way the law says that we can't do that. And that's right. We're not taking them off.
Yeah.
And I won't take them off. I had a gentleman just call me this week that ordered a new Super Duty from me. And he said, that's the first thing I want you to do is take that off. And I said, I'm not. I said, you understand that truck is designed to run with that thing? And he said, well, I've had just a couple issues with the truck I'm trading, and I don't want to. I said, anything can have issues. But, back in 08 and 09, they just put these filters under the trucks, and they weren't designed that way to put them in there. Now these trucks have been designed to put those filters in there and keep them running cleaner and everything else too, from that part. But the law reads that we cannot disable that or take that off. But if we trade for a truck that's been deleted, as long as we disclose it to the next owner, we can sell that truck. So that's a huge thing, because I've got rid of a lot of trucks because of the amount of money it takes, how
yeah.
they've done it,
Mhm.
and what it takes to put that diesel filter back up underneath that truck. But I hate to see what the penalty is going to be if who's ever taken them off gets caught. That's where the issue is going to roll into the equation of getting caught at taking that stuff off of these trucks. It's kind of like taking a catalytic converter off. But yeah, we just have to have the customers, and we disclose it to them that it is deleted, and we can now retail those trucks out. And like I said, several of those trucks I've had to just go ahead and we just take them to the auction and disclose it there exactly, and let them guys deal with it, whatever. But it is now a fact that I can sell that truck without that exhaust on there. So that's pretty cool in one way. I hate the guys are doing it, but I know what they're saying when they're getting better fuel economy stuff. They're going and putting a tune in it. They're tuning it differently from that part. So that means when they're tuning it differently, that emission is coming out the tailpipe, and the wear and tear you're putting on that motor is so much more greater than it would be if you didn't do that to it.
Yeah.
From that part. And then talking about the guy that ordered a new truck and he wanted to take it off, I started talking to him about what's going on with his truck. Well, come to find out, really what happened there, the shop he was taking it to was misdiagnosing the truck. Okay. So after we started digging into it and figuring out what's going on, he's had some problems with it, but it really wasn't the truck's fault. It was the technician that was working on it was misdiagnosing it because, number one, he probably didn't have the right information how to diagnose it, didn't have the correct tools to diagnose it, and probably was trying to run it on a code reader instead of running it off of a scanner.
Yeah.
So with Ford Pass, we can pull those codes out of there. And so I did, and pulled the codes and went and checked it. And guess what it needed, Josh? First thing that pops up in the service manual, needs an update, needs a reflash. Can you believe that, Josh? I can't believe it either. But he's crazy, isn't it? So he put an update. He lives like 5 hours away from us.
Yeah.
And so I instructed him to go in and tell him that, hey, here's a bulletin we found. It's got this condition. It's got this on it. Have him put the update in and see what happens. So I haven't heard back yet, but I promise you, I'll bet you money they put the update in this thing instead of throwing parts at it like he thought that they were doing. Put this update in, and guess what's going to fix it? Now, next thing is I hope the shop's got the equipment to put that in there. So I told him if they didn't, they need to get to a Ford dealer to get that put in there too.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I run into to a situation this week on that, the Ford Pass and that connected vehicle, and I had a customer, pretty similar situation in a Mustang that was having issues and purchased the vehicle from us, but lived a distance away, and had went through and kept having issues with check engine lights, and the shop that was working on it had put a converter on it for efficiency codes, which going through the history of it, it did have a efficiency codes, and the guy drove it maybe about another it was new, and at that point had about 7,000 miles roughly. Had drove it about another 7,000 miles and was having issues with the check engine light again, and from his Ford Pass app, he was just getting the converter efficiency codes or message about emissions efficiency, and that shop was going back in and going to put another converter on. I was like, okay, hold on, time out here. Yeah. Something's going on. For one, you don't just typically you don't see a converter just be the only problem, right? Like something takes it out. And so I'm going back through and I'm looking at all of the connected modem and vehicle data and stuff like that. And there was several instances or situations
Didn't need an update, Josh?
Did not need an update,
okay,
but yeah, there were several instances of where it was going through a random cylinder misfire on startup, at initial startup. And sure enough, there was some issues with one of the cylinders that was actually causing it to miss. But again, we're just going to go through and throw another converter on it and roll it down the road, and that's not.
So really, it was having emissions efficiency.
Yeah.
It was putting unburned fuel down in the converter.
Yeah.
But
long term, that would have been a band-aid to the repair, right? That would have got him going for maybe another 7,000 miles or something. But so a couple of things with that scenario is, one, the usefulness of the the new technology in the Ford Pass and being able to look at that historical data is huge. That's something that is pretty new to the industry and has been a huge benefit for us. But then also I think of the benefits to that consumer in the sense that we've got a much better chance of being accurate or getting something fixed the first time through with all that additional data and information. And that's a huge benefit to the customer. I think time and service, and they get their vehicle back and don't have to have more headaches of dealing with an issue that is, I'm sure, frustrating, when you pay what you do for these newer vehicles, and the last thing you want to see is it mechanically broke or have to deal with being without the vehicle and stuff like that. So
it's a lot of it too is having the right knowledge, but also having the right information. I mean, information, shop manual, or online tools. Like every one of our techs has a laptop they carry to be able to get the information and read those bulletins that you're talking about.
Sure.
Look at that historical data, and they're all attached to a scanner to diagnose crash. I still remember that truck we had, Josh, that I sold to a Shelby truck down in Louisiana.
Yep.
And that dealer messed with it. Man, we called and talked to the dealer, told them what we thought it was. They wouldn't listen to us. They were trying to blame Shelby and all this stuff. And we knew that wasn't the issue. So we went and got the truck and had it fixed in 15 minutes after it got here because they didn't listen to what we were trying to tell them. But again, the amount of volume that we run through here, and we see so many different things and stuff on these cars and trucks that break and know what happens or know what we need to look for, that sort of thing. Common occurrences, that kind of stuff that a lot of places don't see.
Well, I was gave the opportunity to, or had the opportunity to, Pratt Community College come up and visit us yesterday, and we toured the facility and stuff like that. And that's one of the things that we talked about is obviously I'm a huge component or advocate for the multi-point inspection, and I was trying to convey to them that in the automotive industry, if you're going to be in this industry, that the importance of, or the value of, every position. It doesn't matter whether you're a driver picking up or delivering a car, or the technician that's performing that oil change, which seems like the most basic of service of all, but also like the importance level of performing that service correctly so that the customer doesn't have any issues, but then also the value of that multi-point inspection and how important that is. And that you can't just pencil whip one or not do one, or even a car that has a 2, 3, 4,000 miles has the potential of something being wrong on it. And yeah, we are here to sell additional needed services to the customer, but it's not just about selling the services. At the end of the day, whether the consumer buys it or not, I don't care. I just want them to know what is wrong with the car. Now, at some point you get involved in situations where it's not only the safety of that individual, but now you have other motorists involved. And at that point, hey, then we need to take a different approach at that and approach that differently. But trying to convey to these students that, if they're sitting there doing a multi-point inspection and they say, hey, your brakes are fine, but then the customer goes on a road trip to Florida and they get halfway there and it starts growling and grinding, and they pull into another shop and, they're smoked, and you've lost the whole credibility for the whole store. Every transaction that customer has ever been made with you is questioned at that point, and they're probably not going to come back and do business with you again.
Yeah, and it's it's the thing of making a mistake and how you handle that mistake. We're all human. Everybody, I don't care what business you're in or whatever, you're going to make a mistake. How do you fix it? How do you handle it? If you try to take care of it, like we try to take care of it quick and as fast as we can, not sweep it under the rug and see if the issue will go away. It's not going to go away. But everybody's human. You're going to make mistakes,
sure,
from that part. But a safety item like that is crucial to be sure what you're looking at and what you're doing. And that's so many times I've seen customers complaining about brakes, and there's plenty of pad there and stuff, but there's still just the way the metals are, the way the humidity is, all that kind of stuff can make noises.
The other thing with brakes, it's so dependent upon how you operate them, right?
Yep.
I probably won't have many brake noise concerns. My wife, on the other hand, she'll probably have brake noise concerns.
We rely on our brakes pretty well, don't we, Josh?
Yes.
I know I do.
And
too much, probably.
Yeah. It is crazy to think that just going home last night, I was right after I had left the dealership here, there was an ambulance coming down the road, and man, he was red lights and sirens and everything like that. Well, he comes up on the intersection, and all the cars were filling up all the lanes at a red light, and he just freaking takes the median and goes on and over into what would be oncoming traffic. There was no traffic there, but the way he hit the median and stuff like that, I'm thinking, man, I hope brakes are good. I hope everything's good on that ambulance. And in that particular situation, he needs to do that, right? But yeah, he was relying on his brakes. I will promise you that. So,
well, and the next thing is that his emergency is important. I mean,
for sure,
to get to and stuff too from that part.
Well, and the whole time I'm thinking, I don't know why, but the multi-point inspection was in my head at that point right there. I'm guessing they inspect those a little bit differently than or more often. I know Sedgwick County, the folks down there that work on those ambulances, and we have a really good partnership with them and do a lot of repairs down there. But they've got shop down there that they do a large majority of the maintenance and stuff like that as well. And so, but they've got to be reliable, right? So
yeah, got to be. So, hey, 316-462-3673. Let's get the phones ringing. Love to hear from you. Anything ailing your car, tires, brakes, batteries, anything in the automobile world. Love to hear from you. 316-462-3673. Let us know what we can do to help you solve some of your issues on your car. Or if you don't want to call in, hit the chat line. We'll chat you up on the chat line also from that part too.
So we're on day 1.5 of the buy 3 get the 4th tire for $1 sale. So that ends Wednesday. But if that's something that you're in the need of, it is a great opportunity. I think as a consumer, there's a lot of opportunity for everybody saying they have a sale. And so what is a sale? What isn't a sale? But I promise you, this is a sale from that side.
It is very good. Buy 3, get 1 free, right?
Yes. So it's buy 3, get the 4th one for $1.
Oh,
$1. Yeah. I don't know how they come up with that or why.
I don't know either.
I'm sure there's some marketing ploy or something like that, but yeah, so typically we've done a buy 3 get 1 free sale. This is actually reimbursed by a different entity of Ford, I guess, and so they
some of its money's coming from the advertising side of the deal, which is very cool that the groups participated in that to help that happen.
Sure. Yeah.
From that part, I was involved in a lot of those decisions. I'm not on the FDF board, but I'm the chairman of the Quick Lane board, and we put our heads together and came up with a great program here. So how much more time do they got left to buy 3?
Yeah. So Wednesday will be the last day that we'll be able to offer that sale. So definitely there's still some availability or some times to get in and make that happen. But if that is something that something that you're even close to needing, definitely take advantage of that, because it is a huge savings. And I will say, tires is one of those things. We went from, I can remember 14, 15-inch tires, and now we're up to 20s, 22s from that side.
24s.
Yeah. And just the expense of them, it is truly an investment. But I will also say too, years ago when we were doing 14, 15-inch tires, the life of that tire was typically 20, 30, 40,000 miles.
If that,
I
remember the day there were about 10,000 miles, Josh.
Yeah.
Had the OG 70s, 15s and stuff.
But also, in speaking to that, maintenance on that tire is so much more important now. If it's going to go that distance, you got to take care of it. You got to rotate it, make sure the alignment's good, stuff like that.
Alignment, rotate them, balance them as you need to, rotate them every 5,000 miles. And I'm a firm believer not everybody does this either, but check the balance on them at 10,000 just to make sure that they're balanced, because balance is going to affect how that tire performs, but also that alignment. That's really crucial, how that tire is going to wear.
Yeah. Again, walking around and with this class and giving a tour and stuff like that, and just stuff that being in the industry and being here every day, and you
take it for granted.
Things you take for granted, because we're talking about these Hunter alignment machines that that are at the entrance of every one of our service drives, and what that's able to do for us, for our customers, and the value that it gives the customer. And you can have results in a matter of just pulling through the thing. It is absolutely crazy that it's going through and checking alignments. It's checking to see if there's a recall on the vehicle, checking tread depths, right there. And that's something that I think we definitely, as employees, probably don't do a good enough job explaining all what goes on behind the scenes. Right? You get just busy in the day to day, and we get things done. But to actually dive into what's happening and why.
It's just like if you're going in for heart surgery, you're going to be nervous as heck. But all those doctors, nurses, all the people that help you get that heart surgery done,
they do it every day.
It's this normal thing for them, but it's nervous for us because we don't do it.
Sure. Yeah.
And trying to think the process going through there and doing everything else on that part. I was thinking of the same thing here a couple weeks ago. I had a little procedure done, and I was just thinking of it. The lady that checked me in, the nurse that checked, then got me, took care of me. Then here come in this person, here come this person, and the next thing I know, there's 2 or 3 more people in the room, and stuff. I'm thinking, okay.
And the whole time you're thinking, I'm pretty sure this is only supposed to be a 1-person procure. Why is there 5 people in my room? No.
Think about how many people it takes to get a car repaired with us.
Oh yeah.
Time they make the appointment, talking to somebody maybe at the BDC.
Yep.
Then service advisor, then the tech, and then the service advisor again. So it's a lot of people involved in the same. And that's what I was kind of relating it to. It's the same scenario. We get in a rut because we do it every day. It's the same thing for us every day. But when the customer comes, it's new and different for them.
Would definitely agree with that for sure.
So anyway, 316-462-3673. Love to hear from you. Anything ailing your car, tires, brakes, batteries would be fun. Or if you want to talk about the buy 3, get 4th one for $1. Good till Wednesday. Don't miss out. So if you're just even getting close to needing tires, should be a great thing for you to help up. And the next thing is I got to bring it up again, 17 different makes of tires for you. Yep. So no matter what tire you like, or if you need some help guiding on which tire it is, we got a variety of choices from that part. Walking the tire store, you might have 3, maybe 4 choices to choose from. Not here. We got all these manufacturers behind us of 17 models, and surely we can find the right tire that meets your specifications. Not just the right size. We have to get the right speed rating, the right load rating, and the right traction part of that to make sure you're putting the right tire on your car.
Probably hadn't been that long ago that you seen the wrong tire on the wrong vehicle under the wrong application, if I had to guess.
I've seen it many times.
Yeah, run into it pretty often.
We're trading for cars or stuff like that, or even walking on the service drive, I'll look up and say, what in the world is that tire doing on that car? Because each vehicle, you can't, even though let's take an Expedition and an F-150. They probably have the same size tire on it.
The load rating is going to be different.
Exactly. Yeah. But can a tire on an F-150 fit on an Expedition? Sure can. Is that the right application for that situation? No. Can an Expedition tire go on F-150? Yeah, but it's the wrong application.
Well, and the thing's going to ride different. It's going to handle different.
Traction, braking, all that kind of stuff. So open your driver's door. There's a little placard there. It tells you all the things you need to know about your tires. What needs to be on that car, even tells you the tire pressures that the car was designed for, not what's on the side of the tire. That's the maximum pressure that's supposed to be put in that tire can handle, but that's not the air pressure that car was designed for to run and handle and brake right. It's supposed to be handle suspension the way it's supposed to be, and all that from that top too. And what's Mr. Mike's talking about? Spring weather brings on rain showers, So another stat that's out there is 80% of tire failures happen in the last 20% of tread wear. Do you know that stat?
So I think had the opportunity, we were had different DOT dates on some tires. So we had actually
talk about that too.
We did. Yeah. So we received a set of tires from one of our suppliers for this vehicle, and the DOT date age on the tire was like 4 years old, and you could touch the tire. I mean, this is a brand new tire, still had the nipples on it and everything was, I mean, I couldn't believe it.
They forgot about them and didn't rotate their stock out. Is what they did.
Yeah, is what happened. But the compound on the rubber, like you could touch it, and a brand new tire, same size, same tire next to it. I mean, you could just feel how hard the compound of the rubber was versus a fresh clean tire. And so that's something that I don't think people understand too, is that the DOT date on a tire matters as well.
Yeah. It's kind of like last Saturday, Josh, we were there at the BTI's open house, and we were there, and that truck pulled up there, and I'm telling you, those tires, they've been through 3 cycles of DOT time. They were actually, you could actually see the black, just kind of, you could probably wipe your hand on it and just get black on it because of how old that tire was on that truck, that part. So always remember that too. It's not how much tread wear. There's a date on that tire than when it was made, and it's 5 years, a lifespan of those tires. Even though the tread's wood and everything else like that, you still run a risk because of the age of the rubber and all that kind of stuff. And you're right. And I bet that tire was hard compared to
and I don't years ago, as far as like a tire blowout, you just don't. We don't really have blowouts anymore. What happens is the tire gets low, it gets overheated, and then comes apart from there. And with the advancements of the tire pressure monitoring systems, things like that, it's a little bit easier for consumers to understand when a tire is low. But if you don't have that system, or it's not operating like it needs to do with these lower profile tires, like they have now, it's hard to tell when a tire is low.
You can't tell it anymore. That's why I love the tire pressure monitoring systems on these cars. I still remember them come out and people pull in on drive. Get that light off them. Well, yeah, let's get your tire aired up. Let's figure out why that tire's low. It's not just something we just reset. It's on there for a reason. And I love those tire pressure monitoring. I'm glad now finally about everybody's went to where you can actually see the pressures on the dash
of each tire.
Of each tire, so you kind of know what you got and everything else too. I've helped so many people call me with the tire light, and I'll tell them to turn the light, to put that on their screen so they can watch the pressures. So if it's just going down real fast, you're in trouble. But if it's just sitting there steady and it's got into that window of turning that light on, you can still drive the car a little bit and stuff too, to get to the nearest place that you can get some air or get the tire fixed or whatever it might be. But I've went through many a situation with customers calling me and having that, and I get that up on their screen and monitor that for a little bit. Let's see what happens. But then again, I've had people call me and it's going down. Okay.
You need to, the other thing, years ago, you would have just kept driving the car. You had no idea, right?
Oh, yeah.
You would have drove it until you ruined the tire. But in that particular situation, it was inconvenient to have to stop and deal with it right then. But it was at a point where the tire was still okay or could be repaired and put back on the car for sure.
Yeah, no doubt. It's just one of those things of, back to, we got a much better tire than we've ever had years ago. They run so many more miles and stuff if they're taken care of and maintained and everything else too. But keep a lot. You must remember those lights on the dash in that car. Those are the things that's the way the car talks to you and tells you what's going on. Years ago, I get it. Some of them lights didn't mean much. I still remember when the first oxygen sensors come out, and I can't remember what car this was on or whatever, but at 45,000 miles, there was this little clicker thing that would click up under the odometer. And I don't remember what it said, but it covered up the miles. It was just a mechanical thing that just clicked up there. Well, I was telling you to change the oxygen sensor is what it was trying
at 45,000.
At 45,000.
Wonder why?
I don't know. That manufacturer did that. But what's crazy about it, you just could reach under the dash. There's a little wire there, and you just pull that little wire down
and it'd reset it,
and off you'd go.
So it'd go another 45,000.
Yeah. I'm dead serious. So now today, when these lights come on, they are factual. That is true. That's what's happening there. That car's telling you, hey, I've got a problem. It's kind of like when Jason called in earlier today, the light came on and went back off. Well, that failure is going to come back.
Yeah.
Even though it's not there now, it's going to come back at some point in time from that part. So anyway, morning, Mike. And Jason Cox wants to know the difference between air and nitrogen.
Well, there's a big difference.
There is a big difference.
Yeah, there is a big difference. And nitrogen's something that we use around here, definitely. Yep. And so just by we have nitrogen plumbed into actually all of our tire equipment, so the balancers and tire machines and stuff like that. Just because of it's a drier air, it's better on the equipment, it's better on the inside of your tires. But there's a lot of benefits to nitrogen and the aspect of fuel efficiency and making that tire run at a more consistent air pressure than with compressed air. And so over the life of the tire, it's not as susceptible to leaks as much as compressed air. Now it is still going to leak. It doesn't completely eliminate the situation, but with compressed air versus or with nitrogen compared to compressed air, that tire is going to stay a more consistent tire pressure, not only over the duration of the tire being mounted on the wheel, but just over the temperature cycle. So one that's cooler in the mornings versus a tire that's been driven, and from the heat of the road and stuff like that, nitrogen will stay a more consistent pressure than compressed air, and it's going to make the tire last longer and wear better and give you better fuel economy during that distance.
Yep. So anyway,
sure.
the nitrogen is there's different percentages you can get of nitrogen too.
Mhm.
And so 76% of the air out there today is got nitrogen in it. 76% is nitrogen. We convert ours up to 96, and I haven't done it for a while, but I used to play with those machines, and I could get it all the way to 100% and cycle them enough, and I could get 100% of nitrogen in there. So there's some machines out there that only get you to 93, and you're thinking 93 to 96, is that really a big difference? It's a huge difference on how well that nitrogen performs for you. From that part. But that's the biggest thing is the nitrogen just doesn't lose the air as fast, and it doesn't change with the temperature outside from that part. So,
And if it's able to keep that tire help regulate the temperature of the tire, then braking, braking performance comes into play, and there's just a lot of benefits that
yep.
with nitrogen, and that's something that a lot of industries have picked up. I think of the aviation, I think of NASCAR for sure.
Well, it doesn't expand as much either.
Yeah.
And I'll have proof of that is because on my race trailer, I ran it 2 years without having put air in it.
Well,
Okay.
but you can even talk about, I think, did it have temperature sensors on those, or was it just pressure?
I do now. It does now have temperature sensors in them.
But even from a pressure standpoint.
Yeah. So basically what when I really watched this, I went 2 years and never had to put air in them. And then I had to finally put some air in them and got in a hurry. Imagine that. And I just put compressed air in them to air them back up and everything else too. Running out of time, trying to get to a race, everything else like that. But I'm going to tell you what happened then is when I was driving down the road, those tire pressures jumped with that compressed air in there, almost 15 pounds more pressure than it did with the nitrogen. So can that turn into be an overinflated deal? Yeah, sure can. But that was the first thing that I noticed. But the other thing is I went 2 years without having to put air in those tires, watching the monitor, watching the temperatures. Granted, I run 100 pounds of pressure in those tires for the weight we're carrying. But that's just, maybe that's an extreme deal. But just think about the difference at 35 pounds of air, what that will do for your tires and stuff too. But that is a bona fide fact that pressure jumped up another 15 pounds. Now that I've never done that with the new trailer because now the sensor's got a temperature reading and a pressure reading in them, so you can watch that too. But I'm telling you, when I run down the highway, that's what's on the center of my screen. I'm watching those tires because, if a tire trailer goes down or comes apart, the first thing it's doing is it's just tearing the heck out of your trailer.
Well, beating all over the trailer. And in your particular situation with having the triple axles on it, then you could have one of them go down or low and never know it, until it's too late, until you got the sidewall of a tire slapped against the side of the trailer for sure.
So that's why I've always done that with those tires. But so that's the benefits of nitrogen. If you don't have nitrogen, you should. I think everybody should have the nitrogen in your tires just for that part of it. But the biggest question we always get is, then what happens if I need to get air? Not a big deal. Just get your regular compressed air, to air the tire back up. If you can't get somewhere that has the nitrogen or whatever, and then when you bring it back to us, just tell us that, hey, I had to put some compressed air in there, and we'll put it back on the machine and recycle it back through and get you back up to that 96% from that part. It's not like you're going to hurt anything at all by putting compressed air back in that tire.
Most important thing would be the tire being inflated for sure.
Correct. Just get it inflated correctly and get your pressure back where it needs to be. Hopefully you're not got a leak. It's just it just seeped enough down to get into the warning where it turns the light on for that deal. I don't know, Josh, I haven't really paid attention to that. I thought at one time that, for example, 35 pounds of air, the light came on about 28. I was thinking they were coming back to making that not quite as a variance from that part when that light does come on. I haven't had a tire light come on me for so long.
It really depends, and also on the manufacturer and the system too. I mean, there's some out there that there'll be a set pressure on what the set desirable pressure, right? And so then it's looking at each individual tire compared to that set pressure and saying, okay, well, if it's within this many psi, turn on the light, or if it's over this many psi, turn on the light. And then you have other manufacturers out there that put just a variance. So it's not looking for a specific pressure. It's just comparing them to all the other tires. And so if they all run a little bit lower, then it's, the odds of it turning on the light are a lot less likely. It's just when you have one way higher than the other. And so again, it just kind of depends on the manufacturer and what they are. But typically you see around, that 6 to 7 PSI difference is about when it'll start
when it turns the light on.
turning the light on.
So,
and on a hot day now, and you start a vehicle out cold, and if you have regular compressed air, to get 4 or 5 PSI difference, it's not that uncommon.
No,
for a tire to grow that much.
No, and then for example, I remember years ago when this would happen to me when I lived in Hutch, and I'd take off in the morning and on a cold morning, and that tire light would be on. Time I drove 4 or 5 miles, guess what? The light was off. It was just enough in that range where it hit it, and the cold temperature did it. And granted, I'm driving a demo, was didn't have the nitrogen. If I think if I had nitrogen in it, it would have been a different ball game on how that would have worked. But biggest thing, just pay attention to those lights. Those lights are out there. They're talking to you. And the longer you drive with the lights on, the more money it's going to cost you to fix it. I can promise you that. It's another one of those deals. Pay us now or pay you later. That part. So anyway, Josh, kind of running out of time here. The big thing is till Wednesday, buy 3, get the 4th tire for $1.
Yes.
Don't miss out. 17 makes and models to choose from. If you're getting close or thinking you're going to be from that part, let us know so we can help you with that. It's good through Wednesday from that part. I'm glad this time around they did it. They did a little bit longer of a time span than what they did before from that part. So get your tires, buy 3, get the 4th one free, and see what we can do to help you that and make sure that we get you the right tire, the right application, the right brand that you like. Everybody's got a different flavor of tire they like and stuff too. And we can sure help you with whatever it might be on those tires and that stuff too. So
sure.
Okay, spring break's around the corner.
It is right around the
corner.
corner.
You're getting ready to go somewhere, whatever. I hope you got your car and got it serviced up and ready to go for your takeoff and a big trip to head to Colorado, go skiing, or if you're headed to the beach or wherever you're going. Make sure you get your cars in to get them fixed up, ready to go for spring break. Can't believe it's springtime, Josh, but it's good. I'm glad.
We'll take it, right?
Much rather sweat than freeze. I can promise you that. So I'm glad the cold weather is getting behind us and going on down the road. So everyone, don't forget the tires. Get that taken care of by Wednesday. And everybody tune in next Wednesday at 6 o'clock. We're going to go live again with Salt City Racing, talking about some more exciting stuff we have happen this week on Salt City. Of course, you tuned in or not, we had Ken Schrader on the podcast with us. He's going to be our Grand Marshal at our Silver Crown race, and he's going to come race with us, Josh.
That's awesome.
He's going to bring his IMCA A-Mod and race against the guys, and so it's going to be fun to have Ken Schrader there. He's going to be a good icon for the sport, and he's raced in every state except Rhode Island and Hawaii.
Really?
But there's no racetrack in Rhode Island, we don't think. But there is racetracks in Hawaii.
But
the problem is how you get your race car over there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that would be a
challenge
dilemma
from that part too. So everybody, hey, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for watching. And we'll talk to you next Saturday, 9 a.m. Hopefully no technical difficulties.
There you go.
So everybody have a great Saturday. We'll talk to you next Saturday.